Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mita.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mita. Good afternoon. I hope my laptop screen is visible to all of you right now.
Yes, sir, visible.
Great. Let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes more for the other students to join, and after that, I will start with the lecture. So we were done with coding the components which are there on this first screen, that is the login screen. And after that, once the user is done with
Afternoon, sir.
good afternoon, Mita. Once the user is done with hitting this, just a second. There is a meeting. So once the user is done with hitting this login button, what will happen? He is going to get redirected on this screen 2. Okay, not on screen 2, screen 3. So there is a image button which we have defined over here, and when the user will hit this image button, he is going to get redirected on this beautiful screen 2. Fine. Now whatever pic he has uploaded while creating his profile and the ID which he has mentioned, they both are going to get reflected over here in these two components. Okay, and the IDs of all the other people who have registered their profile on this platform, they are going to get reflected over here in this dropdown. Fine. Now the thing which we need to code for today is how can this person send a message to the person whose ID he is going to select from this dropdown. So for that, sorry, I've got a label box over here. If you guys want, you can define a some kind of send button just next to this label box. For now, I am going to make use of this label box for defining the coding part with which I can send a message from the ID, which is going to get reflected over here to the ID of that person whom this person is going to select from this dropdown. Okay, so the ID of this label box is label 3. I am going to select label 3 from this drop down. Where is that label 3? Okay, this is the one. Okay, so when the user will hit this label 3 button, whatever he has written in this message box, I would like that to get saved first in a kind of in a table like structure. So for that we can make use of create record block. You remember the way we coded for the two-way communication system, the same concept we are going to
Yes,
use
sir.
here also,
Yes, sir.
but the okay, so create record, and here I am going to, what is the name that I need that I should give to this table? Can anyone tell me what is the name?
Sir, name of sender plus name of receiver.
Sir, please
Absolutely
repeat the
correct.
question.
So the name that I need to give to the table is the ID of the sender. So the ID of the sender is going to get reflected over here. That is user email. Okay.
User email.
User email, and the ID of the receiver is going to come from this drop down. It is drop down
Drop
1.
down one.
Okay, so what are the things we would like to save in this table? There are 3 things that I would like to save in this table. The first one is the sender's name, let's say. So sender is going to
Sir,
come.
there is an error. Sir,
What is the
there are
error?
coming many boxes.
Just hold on for a moment, dear. Once I'm done with defining the whole code, na, they all will go disappear. Don't worry about anything. And after that, it is there any error in this code? Create record, then this, just a second.
Sir,
Okay, I
please.
think it's because there was a double inverted comma in between this I and C.
Yes,
That's the
sir.
reason it was coming. Okay, the second thing that I would like to save is the receiver ID. So from here we can get the receiver ID. Fine. And then what else? It is a message which the sender is going to send to the receiver. So we can get it from the message box. Just give me a short moment. Okay. So the ID of this message box is message box. Okay. Message box. Fine. So these are the three things which are going to get saved in this table named user email plus drop down one. Fine. So once the user is done with sending the message, Beta, can you please put yourself on mute? I don't want to hear anything in between. Thank you very much. So I would like to set the text of this component. What is the idea of this component? It is message box. Let's assign it a null value. So that's how we can do it, right? And besides that, we would like to hear a speech also in the background. So let's make use of this Playspeech sound again. And I'm going to put it over here. And this speech, let's customize this speech in such a way that it can take the sender's name also, and it can take the receiver's name also. So get
Sir, we
text.
can use get text.
Absolutely right. So that's how we can do it.
So we are
And
gonna use concatenation.
then concatenation operator. So this person,
Concatenation operator.
your message, your message was sent successfully to, and then we can put the sender's
Sir,
ID.
in the
Sir,
your
double
sir in
quotes
the
ending
double
is not.
yes,
I
sir.
am placing
Yes,
that, dear.
sir.
Don't worry about that. Now is it fine? I think I am missing
Yes,
this
sir.
box over here. That's the reason this error is coming. Now it is fine. Yeah. Now it is perfectly fine. See. Okay. So that's how the message is going to get sent. Now let's talk about how can the receiver receive the message sent to him by a particular sender. So what he can do, he can I want him to when he will click on, there is no button over here, no? Just a second, let me do one thing. If he will click on his profile pic, fine, let's make it as a button. Okay, so if he will click on his profile pic, he should receive the message which the sender, okay, has sent to him. And from where he is going to select the ID of the sender, he is going to select the ID of the sender from this drop down. Okay, so let's make use of this on event block once again. Okay, and when the receiver on his panel will click this button, that is user image, so automatic, what I would like to do, I would like to fetch the records from which table. Now you guys have to tell me what is the modification I need to make over here. What is the thing I need
Sir,
to,
we have to
Sir, you need to
sir, we have
write
to return the name of the table.
We need to write down
And
the name of the
get
table.
drop down one plus
Sir,
get text user
Absolutely
email.
right. You know, we need to place this one first. Okay, and after that we need to make use of concatenation operator, and after that this we need to make use of this thing. Okay, this is a trick that we use for two-way communication. Now once the user is done with fetching the records, accessing the table, now we need to check. Just a second. Yeah, no, this is perfectly fine. And let's do one thing. Let's get rid of this code which is there inside this for loop. Now I don't want to see that message in the form of a text. I don't want to receive that message in the form of a text. I want to receive that message in the form of speech. So that's the
Speech.
reason I am going to make use of play speech block. Absolutely right. So we can come over here and let's vote. Where is that play speech block? Yeah, this is the one. So I'm going to put it inside this for loop, right? We need to put it inside this for loop. Am I right? Am I
Yes,
doing?
sir.
Okay. So let's get rid of this thing. And here I need to make use of records I dot. Where am I sending the messages? In which column am I sending the messages? They're getting saved in this message column, right? So we need to
Message column.
write down here message. Fine. And now I think we'll be able to hear the message. Okay. Is there anything which we are left with? I think
No.
sir,
everything is
sir,
fine.
in the gender and the gender, we have to write the get text and the
No,
language
we are
drop
not
down.
customizing these two fields here. Okay, at present I'm passing a hardcore value. Let me just check whether this app is going to run fine or not. It is going to give me the desired output or not. So I'm going to now
Sir,
share.
you
Okay, sir.
also need to put a validation that get text drop down to is equal, मतलब sorry sir, जो मतलब जो इधर हमको मैसेज मिला वो जो टेबल में जिसका जो रिसीवर का नाम है वो उसके
Mhm.
बराबर है क्या?
Acha, you want me to put a condition in between these two curly brackets?
Yes sir.
But you know, the thing is, Raghav, I am fetching the records on the basis of this thing. So this itself is a condition. Okay, this itself is a condition. If the user will, if this person will select the ID of any other
So
person,
it means
then
that if the table name is also like a condition, then we cannot define more conditions
we need
anymore.
not, if the table name is itself like a condition, we need not to define any kind of condition over here. But if you want to define it, you can do that also. No problem in that. Okay,
Okay
Raghav,
sir.
have you got this thing? Now let's run this app
Yes
on,
sir.
I'm going to run this on, let's say 3 different tabs. Okay. So I'm going to create one profile first, and after that, I will create another profile and see whether the ID of that second profile is going to get reflected on this first one or not. Okay, because I want to see the drop down updating itself on real time. I don't have any pics right now. Let me download some pics from the, or let's do one thing. Let's make use of this pic only for now, which is there on my desktop, because I don't want to waste any time today. Gmail.com, and I think all the students, yeah, there is no one in the waiting room. I was just checking it. Gaurav, and here I go with the password. Let's hit this login button. Okay, so we are on this screen. Let's now hit this screen and see the image is also getting reflected over here. The ID is also there. Now at present there is nothing in this drop down. Let's create one more ID. So we need to access the app. Now this is a second device. You can assume it as if I'm accessing this app on the second device. Let's create
So you can easily right click and duplicate a tab.
um, abhi@gmail.com and abhi123. Let's hit this login button. Okay. So Abhi's ID is also getting reflected over here, and profile pic is also there. Now you guys have to tell me If I will hit this drop down, what is going to happen? What will happen if I hit this
Sir,
drop
we
down?
can get the ID of this Abhi.
All the IDs are
Absolutely
gonna
right.
reflect.
Will we be able to access the ID of Gaurav also, the first
No,
person?
No,
sir.
No,
no,
because
no,
No,
no.
sir.
we have defined an if loop, right? And that's the reason we'll be only able to see this Abhi's ID over here. Similarly, if you will click over here, you'll be able to see Gaurav's ID. Fine. Now let's send a message through this ID to Abhi. Hi, Abhinav.
Sir, but you are on
Hi.
abhi at Gmail or yeah, yeah.
Now it is fine here. Himanshu, I have selected Abhi at the rate. Okay, this is perfectly fine here. This
Oh
person is
yeah,
now
I
going
was
to send
just
a
Yes, sir,
message.
it is
confused.
fine.
Okay, let me just send the
Sir,
message.
fine.
So I need to hit. Sorry, Malay, I'm not able to hear you, dear. Am I making some mistake over here? Am I making some mistake over
No,
here?
sir, you're not
No, sir,
making
it's fine.
any
It's fine,
mistake.
huh?
It's
Let's
fine.
now
No,
hit
sir,
this
this project.
label button and see what is going to happen.
Gaurav@gmail.com. Your message was sent successfully to Abhi@gmail.com.
So the code that we defined for this label box is working perfectly fine. Let's now come on this Abhi's panel and see whether he'll be able to receive the message or not. So we need to hit this profile pic of Abhi, right? In order to receive it in the form of speech. Let's see whether we'll be able to do it or not.
Hi Abhinav. How are you?
Perfectly fine. So the code is
Yes,
working
Yes,
sir.
perfectly
yes,
fine for this
sir.
also. Now just hold on for a moment. I would like to ask you a question now. If I will send a message through Abhi's profile to Gaurav. Hi Gaurav, I am fine. How about you? Okay, let's now send a message to Gaurav. So we need to hit, Abhi need to hit this label box over here.
Abhi@gmail.com. Your message was sent successfully to
Perfectly fine.
Gaurav@gmail.com.
Okay. Now let's come on this Gaurav's panel and see whether he'll be able to receive the message in the form of speech or not. So we need to hit this profile pic button.
Hi Gaurav. I am fine. How about you?
Okay, so this much is working fine. Now let's
It is
send a
working
message
fine.
Abhi again and see whether we are going to get the desired output or not. Uh, yes, sorry. How was the meeting with the boss? Was that good? Okay, let's now send this message to Gaurav. Sorry, Abhi.
Gaurav@gmail.com. Your message was sent successfully to Abhi@gmail.com.
Now let me just click this button and see whether we are going to get the desired output or not. Just hear the voice attentively.
Hi Abhinav. How are you? How was the meeting with the boss? Was that good?
What is the error in the code? What is the mistake over
Sir,
here?
it speak the previous message instead of the
Yes,
latest one.
No.
sir,
It
it was.
is speaking both the messages.
Yes, sir, it is speaking both the
Okay, it is
messages.
converting both the
Yes,
messages
sir.
into speech form. Now you guys have to tell me the answer. You guys have to tell me what is the mistake that we have made over here in this code. There is a very minor mistake that we have made in this code. You guys have to tell me that what is the error in this code. We are done with this app. Only thing is
Sir, we
there
have
is
to place the play speech before the for loop.
before the for loop. No, beta. How this is going to fetch the message from the table? You tell me that. How will it fetch the message from the table?
Hmm.
Because for fetching the message, we are making use of this code in which we are making use of this variable I. And variable I, we are defining it over here. If you will
So
put
if we
this,
use it before we defined it, so it won't work.
it won't work. It will not be able to identify this
Okay,
variable I,
sir.
na? Okay, so it is not going to work in that way. What is the error in this case? What is the mistake we have made over here? Or you can say, what are the changes we need to make in in these lines of code for getting the desired output? Acha, just tell me one thing. If I'll come on this users table, what is the ID which is getting reflected over here?
1.
What is the length of this table?
1.
What is the length of this table?
2.
2.
Absolutely right. Malay, absolutely right. The length of this table is 2. Why you are saying that the length of this table is 2? It's because there are two rows which are right now visible to us
Two
in this.
rows of information that are
है ना?
visible to us.
That are visible to us. What is the index of this row? What is the
Sir,
index
1.
of this row? Is this
Sir,
1?
email to
1.
So
Yes,
why
sir,
are we
1.
starting from 0 then? Why are we starting from 0? If the index of this row is 1, then why are we starting from 0? Why have we initialized this variable with 0?
It is
Acha, let me just
literally way too minor.
let's make use of this Python platform. See why we guys are here? Because we need to have a command on this JavaScript language. Just remember one thing, if you have command on one language now, you will be able to understand any language in the world, any coding language in the world, whether it is Python, whether it is Java, whether it is C++, anything. Okay, now whatever things you have studied in JavaScript on this code.org platform, that is JavaScript, now just try and relate those things with the things which I am going to teach you now on this Python. He can let me know whether you know about these things or not. So if suppose, I want to define a list type of variable on this Java platform, how can I do that? So we don't require anything like this var. Okay, we don't require anything like this var on this Java platform. If you want to make use of a variable, you can just write down the
We
name of that
only
variable like
name the
this.
variable.
Okay, then place an equal to sign, and after that you need to make use of these brackets. Okay,
Square brackets.
square brackets. I think we make use of square brackets in that JavaScript platform also for
Yes,
defining
yes.
that list variable. Hai na? Let's
Yes.
now define
Yeah.
some. Let's now define some items in this on this platform in this what we call collection type of variable. So the first
Sir, do
item
we
that
also need to put a semicolon at the end of statement?
no, we don't require to put. We don't need to put any semicolon here.
Python does
Okay,
not take
so
any
apple,
semicolons in end
then
of statement.
absolutely right. Okay, apple,
We
banana,
is only
let's
required.
say cherry. Okay, now how many items are there in this list?
Three items.
There are three
3.
Three
items.
3
items.
items.
Okay, let's now hit this enter button. So it has accepted the input which I have
So
given.
now when we will type X, it will give
Himanshu,
us
Himanshu,
the list.
hold on for a moment.
So
Now,
then
if
we
you
have to
want
write
to,
print
beta,
X.
if you can hold on for a moment, just a second. Now, if you want to print the items of X, so you can just pass this command print X, and this is what you are going to get as an output. Now, if suppose you want to access these items one by one, can you guys tell me what is the thing we can make use of if we want to
Print.
access?
We can make three
Sir, I can
variables
tell.
x
No,
comma
no, no,
y
sir.
comma z
Sir, we have to
is
write
equals to
print
another banana
X.
cherry, apple banana cherry. Then
Sir,
print
can I?
y. We can
Acha, just
output of banana.
hold on for a second. What are we doing here? We are using a for loop now. Can we use a for loop for accessing these items of this list? And if we can, then you have to tell me what is the line of code do I need to write down over here if I want
Sir,
to
there is
access
another
these
step
items.
also.
I want to make use of for loop here. The way I access the items from this table on this JavaScript platform, in the same way I would like to access the items on this Python platform also from this list which I have defined over here.
Sir, do
Now
we
you,
need to use range function?
do we need to use range function? I don't know about that. You have to tell me what is the code that I need to write down over here because you guys know more than me. That is the reason you guys are speaking in between. Yes, Malik. Please tell me, dear. What is the line of code that I need to write down over here for fetching the items? Acha, if I want to, do you know how can we define an if loop? Do you guys know how can we define an if loop over
For
here?
Python or
On
Java,
Python. On Python.
we
Sir,
can
we
use
can.
the for well block. I mean for well command. I don't know what.
It has given me a syntax error. Now you guys have to
Sir,
tell me why it has given me a
semicolon.
semicolon. Chalo, let's put a semicolon and see whether it is going to give us the right output or not. I am not getting the right output. Why is it so, dear? You guys know more than me, then tell me. Why is it so? Why is it happening?
Sir, is the y is the variable. Sir, not a variable in code.
Not a variable. So what should I write down over here? See, if you will not listen to me, na, if you'll go on speaking your things, I don't know whether you'll be able to understand coding or not, but for me, you will never be able to understand anything. For me, this is the truth. If you will not listen to your teacher, what your teacher is trying to tell you will never be able to understand the concept of these things. ठीक है, भले ही आप अच्छे कोडर बन जाओगे, but you will not be able to understand these things, ना, है ना? That is the reason I keep on telling you guys that listen to me first, and after that I will give you a chance to speak. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. What is the mistake which we are making over here? See, if we are making use of a for loop on Python, so that's how we can do it. We need to put a colon instead of a semicolon. See, now it has accepted this for loop. Now if you will pass a command like this, print y. See, am I getting all the three items or not, which were there stored in this list X? So this is the way. This is the way we need to write pass this for loop. Now, if suppose if I'll write down print x print x1, can you guys tell me whether Python is going to accept this command or not?
Sir, it will print apple only.
It will it will print apple. Male pakka it will print
Yes,
apple.
sir.
Agar
Yes,
agar
sir.
if it will not print apple, then what will you do? If it will not print apple in the output, then what will you do?
Sir, please input semicolon.
No. If it will not print apple, then what will you do, Male?
Sir, Malay says this, and I am Bhishma, and I says that
Just a second.
please.
Again, you are interrupting in between here. I was talking to Malay and you are interrupting in between. If I'll place a semicolon over here, see, I will get an answer, but this is what I'm getting. I'm not getting apple. Why is it so? What is this thing which I have placed over here? What is this thing which I've placed over here?
Sir, one.
Sir, index.
Sir, this apple is 0.
Who has said this in? Who has said this word index?
Sir, Raghav.
Raghav, absolutely, you are absolutely right. It is index number with which I am fetching the item, okay, which I've got in this variable x. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's make it 0. Will I be able to fetch any kind of, will this give me any kind of output?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, it
Apple.
will give apple as output.
Why it is giving apple as output?
Because, sir,
index is
apple
0.
has been assigned the index 0.
What is the length of this? What is the length of this list type of variable? What is the length of this collection? What is the length of this collection type of variable I have defined over here?
It is 3.
2.
It is 3 because there are 3 items stored in this variable, and the index number with which we are fetching the first item is 0. The index with which we are fetching the second item is 1. The index with which we are fetching the third item is 2. So it is 0, 1, 2. But the length of this collection type of variable is 3. Same is the case on JavaScript platform also, and on all the platforms on which you can do coding. See, the concept is same. Now let's come on the JavaScript platform. Now if I will ask you what is the index of this first row, then what is the answer you're going to give me?
0.
And whoever want to give me the answer, now you guys have to switch on your camera first, because I don't want to hear those students who don't switch on their cameras. Okay, if you have got any issue with your cameras, just get them replaced and then you guys can answer. So what is the index of this first row? It is 0. Absolutely right, it is 0. What is the index of the second row? It is 1. Okay, and what is the length of this whole table? It is 2. Now let's come back on this coding part. See, once this for loop is done with executing itself, once this platform is done with execute, let me just eliminate this code from here, and let me ask you a very beautiful question. Once this platform is done with executing this for loop, what is the value of y after this point where this read records block is getting closed, or after this point where this for loop is getting closed? What is the value of I where this for
Sir, please
loop?
repeat the question.
I am saying that once this platform is done with executing this for loop, which we have defined inside this read records block for this on event, okay, what is the value of I after this point?
0.
Pakka 0. Are you sure it will be 0 only? Let me help you with that also. This is called coding. This is called real coding. uh, because we are not here to make apps. I am not here to basically teach you how to make apps. I am here to teach you how to do coding. Simple, as simple as that. Let's come on this notepad. Okay, and let's make use of
So
this.
there is a I plus plus. So it will plus 1.
Acha, absolutely right. Okay, just give me a short moment now. Let me just explain you why we are getting this error, why we were not able to get the desired output. See, we have defined this for loop over here. Okay, and what is the initially I is equal to 0. Okay, initially I is equal to 0. Now, this after executing this line, after executing this code, the compiler of this platform is going to come on this condition. Okay, this is a condition part. For loop has got three parts. One is the initialization part, second is the condition part, third is the increment decrement part. Now after executing this part, the compiler will come on this part. Now here it will check whether this condition is true or not. Now for this table, where is this table? Let's find out this table. Where is this table? I think this is a table. What is the length of this table? Can you guys tell me that? What is the length of this table?
So 2.
It is 2, right?
2.
So the length of the table is 2. Let me just write down here 2. So the length of the table is 2. Okay, let's come back on this coding part. So for this value of I, this condition is true, na? This condition is true for this value of I, because the length of the table is 2 and the value of I is 0. Okay, so 0 is smaller than 2. So this condition is true for this value of I. So what it will do, it will execute the statement which is there inside this block. What is the statement that we placed inside this block? It was this. Now what is this statement saying? Records I dot message. What is the value of I at present? It is 0. And what is the message which we have got on this 0 index? It is index number. Okay, what you are seeing over here is not the row number, it is the index number with which it is fetching the message. Now what is the message which we have got in this table on index number 0? It is this message. So it is going to convert this into speech first. Okay, after that, once it is done with converting that first message into speech, it will again go to this for loop. ये दोबारा for loop पे जाए. Now here it will come on this condition I plus plus. What is happening here? The value of I is getting incremented by 1. So now the new value of I will be equal to 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Length is going to remain the same. Length will not change. Okay. What is the condition over here? I is smaller than records.length. So the condition for this value of I is also true. Now the compiler will again come inside this for loop and execute this line of code. This time it is going to fetch the message which is there on this index number 1, because now the value of I is 1. What is the message that we have got on this index number 1? It is this message. That is the reason we were able to hear two different messages at the same time. Okay, but we don't want to do that. Once the compiler is done with executing this code, it will again go on this part of the for loop. What is happening here? The value of I is getting incremented by 1. New value of I will be now equal to 2. Now this condition, is it true for this value of I? Now is it true or not?
No, sir.
It is not true. Why? Because 2 is not smaller than 2, no? It is equal to 2. Right? Records.length is 2 and I is equal to 2. So 2 is equal to 2. But 2 is not smaller than 2. So now this condition has become false and the compiler is going to come out of this for loop. It will not execute this line of statement now. Is this thing clear to you guys? Now, if we want to hear only one message, so what does this mean? It means that once this for loop will get over, the final value of I will be equal to what? What is the final value of I?
Sir, 2.
Absolutely right, Himansha. The final value of I is 2. Okay. We don't want to read the message which is there on this index number 0. We want to read the message which is there on index number 1. How can we read that? We can read that by, now you guys tell me, how can we read this? How can we read the message?
So we can put Playspeech out of for loop.
Absolutely correct. Excellent dear. We can put it outside this for loop. And what are the changes that we are required to make over here? We can make it I minus 1 because the value of I is 2 and 2 minus 1 is 1. So it is going to fetch for us the message now which is there on index number 1, and it will convert that message into a speech block. So with this code you are going to get an absolutely perfect answer. Okay, I am sharing this code now with you guys. Now you have to test this app yourself on 2 different devices, and in the next class I'm going to ask you whether this code is working fine or not. Okay, let me just stop this meeting. Where is the chat box?
Sir, please send the link to the WhatsApp.
Just copy this link from the chat box here. I've shared it.